How's it going, everyone? This is Just Lord at Just Lord Gaming. Let's start the day off with a like and a subscribe, and let's get our day started over. This is the rest of my part 2 of my top 20 games of all time. Glad y'all here to join me for this one. I've got some good games on here that are my next top 10. I'm gonna start it off with the Metal Gear Solid series, another great series right here. You can't go wrong with Metal Gear, regardless of which one you play. I mean, me so far, I only beat 3 of them. I still gotta beat 4 on PS3, and I still gotta beat 5 on PS4. I owned all of them, but I just haven't got the 4, or I never got the 4 on PlayStation 3, but I had it this whole time. But I did play the first 3, and I did beat the first 3, and those was always good games in my eyes. Twin Snakes, one of my favorite Metal Gears that I've played. Metal Gear 2 was pretty good. I mean, I thought that was a good one. Only thing I didn't like was you played as Raiden, and whatever you want to call it, the second half or whatever. The first half was pretty quick on the ship, but that was another game right there that threw me for a loop with that decision. But still was a good game nonetheless. Still played like Metal Gear. Another great game, and at that time the graphics was amazing. I mean, you ain't seen nothing like Metal Gear. And at that time, I remember I had the Zone of Enders, and I played the demo, and that trailer alone, that demo alone was great just to have. And then you got a good game in Zone of Enders, so you couldn't complain. Snake Eaters, that was actually a good one right there. I loved the aspect of the stealth was much better in this one. Being able to kill little animals and stuff like that, eat them for health. I mean, that made the game seem more realistic, and you couldn't go wrong. And this had some of like the best boss battles, I would say, in a Metal Gear game so far that I played. I mean, whenever I get to 4 and 5, then I'll see. But to me, this was one of the best boss battles was Metal Gear Solid 3. Snake Eater, great game. My number 9 is the Panzer Dragon series. When I had this on the Saturn, I mean, I never thought the graphics was all that, but the gameplay was definitely there, and I could see what they were trying to do with this game. Panzer Dragon is always going to be like a Star Fox to me, but just a little bit different. I love what they did with the first one, and I mean, it wasn't that long, and it was pretty short, but still a good game. I seen what they was trying to do. I mean, I wish Sega at the time when they released the Saturn, they did a little bit more with the graphical powers, knowing that they had the arcade chops under their belt, and they made an inferior system when we should have been getting basically Model 2 graphics, and I mean that probably would have kept Sega alive, but at that time. But yeah, here we got Panzer Dragon Zooey. They added some stuff. They added the dragon walking on the floor, added a little bit more gameplay options, and actually the graphics was way much better in part 2 than the first one. And that's how you want to do a sequel. You want to make it better than the first one, and I believe they did with that one. I mean, they didn't do too bad with the Panzer Dragons. And then this was the one right here. I remember this one, I was working in Toys R Us at the time when this dropped. And I do believe they said this came out in the limited amount at that time. I don't know how many they had, but I remember this being at Toys R Us, and I remember picking it up. I'm so mad that I traded it because it's worth so much now. I mean, but this was a good game right here. Definitely one of the better role-playing games at that time. Definitely on the side, and one of the better role-playing games. And this is my best Panzer Dragon of all times right here. Was our Panzer Dragon Order. This had everything. The graphics, you couldn't say nothing bad about this Panzer Dragon. One of the best on-rail games you can play today still. And you play this on the I think it's on the Xbox Series X. You can play it's 4K 60 if I'm correct, and it looked way better on there. And then to be an old game and to still look this great, you get that Panzer Dragon Order if you didn't play this, because this is a classic right here. My number 8, Castlevania series. I mean, you can't go wrong with any Castlevania you play. I remember I was a kid when I first had the first one, So this game was hard as balls back then. One of those games that was tested your gaming skills right here was Castlevania, and you can't go wrong with this one right here. The first Castlevania is always going to be the one that put you on to the series. I mean, if you never played it, definitely go test out that first one. That's a classic right there, and you've seen what Konami was trying to do, and that's why it's still going today. And then my best one right here is Castlevania 3 on the NES. This had it all. It had the branching paths. It gave you 2 extra characters to play as. The music was just awesome for an NES game. This was like, the music was on point for this one. Obviously they remade this music in the next Castlevanias that came out after it. But this one had, to me, one of the best soundtracks out of the Castlevanias. Still not my favorite on the soundtracks. That would be Super Castlevania for me, but because that's my perfect 10 of a Castlevania game right here, is Super Castlevania 4. This was a classic right here. Still today, still play it at least every year. Gotta play this one, and it never gets old to me. Always a great game. Indie developers should play this. This will help you learn how to make a decent 2D game today. I mean, because a lot of these indie games still don't look better than Super Nintendo games today. Some do, but a lot of them are made. A lot of the ones I made in 2D, they don't take it to this type of level of gameplay. And my number one Castlevania game, it will definitely be Symphony of the Night. I think I 100%ed this Upside Down Castle, all of that. Did everything you possibly could do in this game, and this was a classic right here. Another game you go back to and play just because that's that damn good. If you ain't played Castlevania Symphony of the Night, it's on everything, so just go get it. And that's definitely a great game right there to have in your collection. See, we're going on to my number 7, which is the Zelda series. I mean, I started this back on a gold cartridge back in the day. I remember my brother and me, we would lay the map down, and we just be going over where we didn't go, what we didn't do, trying to bomb every wall in the game, looking for secrets. This was a classic right here, that Zelda. I can't say nothing else about it. This was what started me on basically adventure games and how to play them. I mean, and so if you ain't played Zelda, go back. Look at that. 86 this came out. 6 years old when I had this. So you think about that. This was a little departure when I remember we got this one. My older brother bought this home, and he mostly played this until my older brother was a little greedy with the games in his day. He didn't want you to play until he was done. And this is one that we watched him beat and until we got our turn. But this was a good one right here. It was definitely a departure from the first one that we played, and they made it a little 2D, but still had the overhead view, to go to the places you needed to go. And I remember this right here, Link to the Past. This was man, I done played this in the hole. I remember, I think I beat this so many times that I got so good where I was beating it like in an hour, maybe hour or two. I used to be able to beat this game. But this was still another classic game right here. Nintendo can do no wrong when they make their games. They always keep it where you still go out and play these games to this day. That's how good they are. And the aesthetic just stays the same. Again, another great game was Breath of the Wild. This to me is definitely what Zelda would be in 3D. I mean, the way they envision it, like open world, do what you want, go where you want, and do all those little things that you want to do. And Breath of the Wild was definitely that game. They definitely brought back the Zelda formula, and I can't wait to see what they do with the sequel. I mean, because this was definitely the game right here, because you could go straight to the end from the beginning, or you could just explore the world and then go to the end, and that's what made that great. And my number one Zelda game is always going to be Wind Waker. Still to this day, I have not seen a game with better animation than the Wind Waker. As for a cel-shaded game, I still have yet to see a game that, to me, that rivals what Nintendo did here. And this was sometime early 2000s. So, and I remember everybody complained, oh, it's not realistic looking. You don't need to be realistic looking to be a great game. And that's what I always said. Even when they changed the look from what they showed at Space World, I wasn't upset because I knew it still would be Zelda, and that was a great game. My number 6 is the Mario series. I mean, who don't have Mario on their list or who don't have Zelda on their list? Mario always gonna be on my list because this is basically my favorite mascot right here. And Nintendo hardly make a bad Mario game. I mean, I can give you one that, I mean, I liked it, but it didn't leave me with that Mario feel, and that was Sunshine. Sunshine was good, but I felt like they was trying to do too much of the collectathon thing with Sunshine. But they redeemed themselves from Sunshine. Anyway, so I'll go with, like I said, I went with Mario All-Stars because it had all the games in it. And then another one of my favorites is Mario World right here. I put countless hours into this, and this is another one that you'll go back to play every year because it's just that good. The graphics is still good for today. Like, you can't go wrong. So this one that you didn't play, go back and play it. But I'm sure everybody has played this. It's been on everything, so everything Nintendo. So why not go back and play that? This is truly my favorite 2D Mario right here. Is Yoshi's Island. This one had it all, graphics, and like still to this day, still some of the best 2D graphics you're gonna see on any console is Super Mario World 2 right here. This was a classic, and I still got my music from that underground that I hum all the time. Another classic game that you cannot go wrong with right here. Super Mario World 2, you ain't play it, go play that. Definitely a lot of levels and a lot of secrets to this game. This is where Nintendo did it for me right here. Even though the Wii U was the little wagon on-screen stuff or whatever with all the wiggling, but they made Mario. I can't complain and say that this wasn't another perfect game from them. Everything felt right about it. I remember when Sonic Adventures 2 tried to do the same thing with these worlds like this, but it used to give me motion sickness, but this didn't. So that tells me how good Nintendo made that game for me not to get motion sickness from the rotating of the world and stuff like that. Another excellent game to have in your collection. But then my number one is always going to be Mario 64, because I remember the first time I laid eyes on this game, and I was like, oh, I gotta get that. This was an awesome game right here. Like, again, another game I had to 100%, because it just calls for you to 100%. There's nothing in here that you don't want to do when you're playing the game. So that's another factor, a fun factor of a game. If you don't even get bored of it, what you're doing in the game, that's how you know that they made a great game. Like, oh, go get that stuff. Nah, I ain't gonna get that. I'm just gonna get all the way to the end. No, I'm getting everything in that game. Another great one. Here we go. Another one, the Street Fighter series. Another great one. Street Fighter 3 here. If you know Street Fighter 3 got some of the best animation on a Street Fighter game right here. Not a lot of people go with 3, but I go with 3. I love 3. I mean, it's not my number one, but as for animation and gameplay go, and strategies for a fighter, Street Fighter 3 was definitely up there with the top. Definitely played this in the arcade a lot. Let me see, another one I played a lot was Street Fighter Alpha 3. I used to love this game right here. I used to love them isms, V-ism, all of those isms was great for the Street Fighter thing. And I love that they added the guard counter here, where someone couldn't play and just continuously block all day. Now there was a guard meter right there, so now you had to be on the offensive if they break your guard. And that's what made that game great for me. And this best always gonna be Street Fighter 2. I don't know how many quarters I put into this. Playing at arcades, I seen people get into fights over this game because people were too good, or they would be like, yo, you cheesing because you keep on jumping, throwing. I mean, so that made me not want to be a throwing guy, because I see somebody get their head cracked for throwing people at the arcade. But that was the tense times. Y'all kids didn't have to grow up in those times and play games with people like that. But that was a good one right there. But here we go. My next game is Star Fox. What can you say about the Star Fox series? Great. I mean, we started off with this one right here on the Super Nintendo. I mean, this is early polygons right here. So you know you're not gonna get the graphics, ain't gonna be awesome, but you can see where we were going from here. And you know, this was a good example of at the time, because we never knew that Super Nintendo could do this, and they added that chip and they gave us something special. So we got another one there. Another one that I like was Star Fox Assault. This was a good game. I wasn't really too happy with the on foot missions. Those was okay, but the on rail missions with the flying, basic Star Fox, always gonna be good. Always gonna be great. Now a lot of people add this to their list as one of the great games on the GameCube. I'll add it to mine because I definitely played it a lot. Star Fox. I'm gonna go with my other Star Fox game. I mean, what could I say about this one? There was Dinosaur Planet before, and then they changed it to Star Fox Adventures. I mean, you knew it wasn't the Star Fox game. You knew they just threw it in and just slapped the name on it, you know, to get more sales. I agree with that. I mean, because the character was a fox, so why not put Star Fox in it and then add some of the elements in there? I mean, they tried, but graphically, this was an awesome game. But for the time, this still was a great game to me, because I know I played the hell out of it. I beat it. And here we go right here. I love this remake right here. I would have added the 64, but the remake was so much better, looked so much better. So that's why I put the 3DS version on here. Just because this is just a better version to look at right here. And this was a great one right here. I own the one Star Fox Zero that came on the Wii U, but I never played it, so I can't add it to my list until I actually play it. And I'll probably try to get to it this year. This bitch been sitting there for years. I have not touched that game, but I definitely got to get to it. My back catalog is crazy, so I just like buying games and just having them. And then one day I'll get to them. And then here we go. This might not be on people's top, but this is definitely on mine. I remember playing this on Super Mario 3D World, and I was like, damn, I wish they made a real game like this. And lo and behold, Nintendo definitely did. And I played the crap out of this game because it was different and it was something new. I mean, we don't have games like this come around all the time, and when you do give them and it's something different, lovely game right here. I really can't say anything bad. Like it doesn't really have a flaw. It's a puzzler, and the graphics is great. Everything about the game is great. I mean, if you like puzzlers, can't go wrong with Captain Toad. Great game right there. Here we go, my number 2 all-time Power Stones. I've still been waiting for them to re-release this or remake it, do something with it. This needs to be online so people can enjoy this game. I mean, I wish there was an online mode for this, because this is the perfect game to be online right here and play with people. I like the first one. The first one, to me, this sets you up for the sequel. I mean, I love the first one, but the sequel, that's my favorite, actually, because of the 4 players. That was basically our version of Smash Brothers on the Dreamcast. And you couldn't go wrong with the sequel. The sequel had everything: more weapons, more characters, more levels. Just the levels breaking apart, and just all the levels changing at the blink of an eye. That's what made this game great and frantic when you have 4 people to play with. You know what I mean? So this is like one of the great multiplayer games right here that I don't see why it's not re-released or just repackaged and be put out. Just have online play with it, because still a great game, Capcom. You need to come out with that, baby. And my #1 game is always going to be Ghosts and Goblins. The Ghosts and Goblins series. I remember this on NES. Oh man, we left the console on to beat this game. That's how bad we wanted to beat this game. Because at first I didn't know that you had to replay it all over again to get the real ending. And I was like, what? I said, nah, I'm beating this game. I gotta turn it off. I can't turn it off. So I definitely didn't turn it on. I left this on, and that's how I beat this game. I mean, I don't know if I even could do it today, but back then, we were real gamers back then. When they came out with, I remember playing this in the arcade, and then I saw it was coming to the Genesis. I said, oh, I got to have that game. This is very close to the arcade. It's not arcade perfect, but definitely very close to the arcade. And it still was there. So at the time, you know, you got your Genesis early, whatever. When this came out, 88. So look at that, 88, and it still look good today. There you go. When the Super NES came out, I remember this. We definitely bought this when it dropped. Because I remember I was seeing a Japanese version, you know, back in the days when they had the mom and pop game stores. They would run, they would show you the games on, like they had like the converter, and they would show you the games that was coming out from Japan. And I remember this was one of them, and I saw Contra, and that was another one. But I knew I had to have this when it dropped out in the US. And this ain't a Castlevania game. I mean, this is not a Ghosts and Goblins game, but it's definitely related to the series. And this is Demon's Crest. If you didn't play this game, excellent graphics still today. Almost like a Castlevania, Symphony of the Night, almost, where you gotta explore the level, find things, and do. It's not as Symphony of the Night, but very close to it. You know what I mean? So still like buying stuff, and you know, another great game that everyone should play is definitely Demon's Crest. Go get that if you have not played it. This is a great game. Then I remember this when it came out on the PSP. This was a great one right here. Ultimate Ghouls and Ghosts, another one that I beat. You can't go wrong with this right here. This is a classic. Another great game right here, and definitely another one that's hard as balls. So I advise, play this one. I know the new one dropped a little while ago, so that one I still got to play. I still haven't beat that one. I've been playing it, but I haven't beat it. But this is my game I'm playing right now, and this is definitely what I would think a new Castle. I'm sorry, I keep saying Castlevania. But this is the one I would definitely think that it looks like what Ghouls and Ghosts, what I would think it would look like right now. On that storybook look, and the graphics is still nice. I mean, only thing I feel is like Arthur, he runs a little bit slow. I mean, but again, he got armor on, so I could respect that. That he's not running that fast. But definitely another good one right here. Definitely plays like the classics, and you know, they got the over the top stuff going on in this game. So another great Ghosts and Goblins game, and if you ain't played this one, go pick it up. It's another great game. It's not expensive. Great game to have in your collection, especially if you an old school gamer like me. So me, I like the old school games a little bit more than I like the newer games, and I love it when they bring out old school games like this. I mean, you can't go wrong with Ghouls and Ghosts. Ghouls and Ghosts Resurrection. Definitely graphics is up to par. Everything on this game look good. Can't really give it say anything bad about it besides the running. Besides that, I mean, this game is great. I mean, I would go pick this up immediately as well if you're a Ghosts and Goblins fan. But like I said, this is the end of my video. Please like and subscribe, and your boy will put out another video soon. Appreciate y'all.